Okay, I thought I'd just slide this one in here. This is a Netflix film review, one of many, you'll be pleased to know. Right, so very rarely, no, hang on, never have I watched a film where I absolutely hated it all the way through, but enjoyed the closing credits. I'll explain what I mean later on, but yeah, it's what happened with Senior Year, starring Rebel Wilson. Now, you know that type of film that's low key, not too hefty, and you just fancy sticking on a Saturday afternoon, goes straight over your head. Well, Senior Year goes beyond that. There is absolutely no substance to it whatsoever. It falls flat on its ass, basically. It's so bad. I actually brought it up during a flyby conversation I had with a couple in a bar last year, who I've met. We were talking about films we'd seen at cinema and on Disney Plus, etc. And I looked them both in the eye and seriously said, steer clear of Senior Year. It's complete and utter shite. It really is. So, the good elements. I'll start with those, even though I have just slagged it off. Right. I have to say from the off, Angourie Rice, who plays a younger version of Rebel Wilson's character, Stephanie, is an absolute delight. She really is. She's cute, she's quirky, she's funny. She's the entire chick flick package. She carries the film or any scene that she's in with such an energy and infectious humor. She's great. And she's always dressed in sort of it's pinky bright colors as well. I just wish I could have pinky plucked her from this film and shoved her in another one. So Angourie Rice, hats off to you. Absolute gem. Next element, the concept of slipping into a coma as a child or a teenager and then waking up as an adult. I've always loved that sort of mystery and sort of sinister atmosphere around it, where someone wakes up and has to adapt to the world around them, new technologies, different people, etc. It's similar to, don't judge me, but it's similar to like 13 Going on 30, Jennifer Garner's film, which was like a reverse Big, basically. So yeah, that's great. Angourie Rice, excellent. The concept, excellent. Oh, and Alicia Silverstone, also excellent. It was really good to see her in a film again. I swear Rebel Wilson and Paramount had some sort of dollar deal going on, because there's references to Clueless throughout the film, and Alicia Silverstone pops up and does a cameo. What she discusses as well with Stephanie is actually quite heartfelt, quite warming. So that was quite a nice little touch. It was good. Right, as I just mentioned, the closing scene. So I can't for the life of me fathom why I found it so intoxicating. Oh, I'm so confused. But yeah, there's basically the closing scene sees Stephanie and her school friends. They're outside like the high school, and they all just start basically C'est la Vie by Bewitched. The old 90s track starts playing, and they all start bopping around. I went back and watched it a couple of times because it was just the upbeat atmosphere and the whole bubbling of it was excellent. The like sort of the looks on the cast's face, the crew as they're all sort of dancing around, and I do that. That's not a weird robot or anything, but you know, one of them's like doing a sort of weird shifty thing. I don't know why I liked it so much, but there's a bit where like Rebel's part of a conga and she's like in a cheerleading outfit and they're all bopping backwards and doing this. There's crew doing their dance. They all had an absolute blast. It looks fantastic. And yeah, it was just really intoxicating in the end. It was just ridiculous fun, basically. So let me get on to the downers. Right. I have to say, I cannot, well, actually, no, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I can believe how appalling Rebel Wilson's performance was throughout, especially with scenes that warranted like a lot of feeling and a lot of drama. I mean, she's not one really to put a whole heartfelt performance into anything. She's kind of like she's like a doll, isn't she? A sort of, it's always gritted teeth and sort of, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm waiting for someone. Yeah. What? You want to date me? No. You're not my type, you know, that kind of thing. She's just sort of side swish, very sort of just lazy and gritty, I guess, as in the teeth. Waking up in hospital, I'm just exasperated, honestly, because it was, oh God, it was an absolute anticlimax from the start. But her waking up in hospital, she barely does anything anyway. So Stephanie's laying in bed, and she barely opens her eyes. She just sort of lays there and sort of goes, oh, just blinks, and then just sort of sits up, waddles into reception, and then she catches sight of herself in a mirror, and she's like, "What are you gritted teeth again? Obviously, what are you staring at? What are you staring at?" And then she just sort of feebly faints. The father character comes and picks Stephanie up in his car with one of her old school friends. And this has to be the worst part of it. So she's sitting in the back as her friend and her dad are taking her home, and her friend gets an iPhone out of her bag, and she's texting away. And you know, an iPhone, you know what an iPhone is. Rebel's like reaction is that of someone who's just taken a fucking stick of chewing gum out of her handbag. She sort of looks at the phone and she's like, "What's that? Oh, is that a phone? That's nice. Yeah." Yeah. No. Sorry. It was shocking. In a movie like this, in a TV show like this, in a fucking improvised sketch like this, you need to have that passion and that feeling. You have to convince the viewer and really, you know, and pull them in, entertain them, engage them. I'm not trying to sound like a movie director here or anything, but fuck me, it was the worst, most pitiful performance ever. There was no emotion, no drama, nothing. It was so disappointing. So yeah, there was no surprise, no delight, no sort of getting used to everything around her, as if she'd never, you know, been in a coma in the first place. Right, so the script itself is fucking terrible, basically. It was honestly as though the actors had been thrown together and were asked to improvise throughout the film. Adding insult to injury was the scene where one of Stephanie's school friends, because she goes back to school, cue the chick flick bit of, you know, turning up in a car, slow-mo, sort of swishing of the hair, slamming the car door, shades and all that. It's very geeky, chicy. It's very, yeah, it's very that. So yeah, insult to injury. One of her school friends turns around and says something real smutty, like, "Please don't blow my dad." And it was, yeah, enough said, basically. Please don't blow my dad. The film is a bit like that. It throws in a lot of smut and sort of sexual innuendos as well. So it's like that. It's just cringe throughout. It's beyond tacky. The characters, in addition, are just very forgettable. They're very plain and very vague. They're just sort of void of any, apart from, as I mentioned, Angourie Rice. Apart from her, there's nothing there. And in actual fact, oh my God, I can barely speak because I'm getting so fucking passionate about it. In actual fact, one scene sees Stephanie's friend, I think Tiffany, turn up on the doorstep. And they're supposed to be sort of engaged in this confrontation. And yeah, because it's a heated argument, I think. It's supposed to be a confrontation. But it wasn't. It was just Rebel and her fellow cast member stood there just sort of, "Oh yeah, you say that. Okay, now I'll say that. You say that. I'll say that. I'll say, you say, I'll say." That was just fucking, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. No. This cannot happen. I mean, I was fucking sat there just completely bemused. I honestly, I was like, is this supposed to, not in the classic sense, is this supposed to be funny? Are you laughing at me? You know, not even in that sense. I was asking myself, is this supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be angry? Are they unhappy with each other? What's going on here? It was just terrible. Right. Outtakes. So at the end, where I'm sat there, enjoying my the cast doing all their congas and their weird little dance moves. At this point, there's a few outtakes that just weren't funny and were just quite irrelevant. Justin Hartley turns up through the film. He's a character. He's doing a television advert on up on the telly when Stephanie's in hospital. He's like a car salesman. And one of the outtakes involves him. So he fucks up something he says, and he's like, "Come down to," oh, God, I can't do it. And he doubles over laughing. The crew are in the background, like, "Whoa, yeah, woo, woo," as if it was like the funniest fucking thing they've seen, like in the past 25 years. Yet there was absolutely nothing funny about it. It just wasn't. It was so cringe. You know, when you watch those sort of films or TV shows where the people on screen are clearly having a right laugh, and you can't see the funny aspect of it. You're just sat there like, what are they? They're just a bunch of twats. So yeah, there wasn't much funny about it. Right, let me round up. So senior year. Now, what stood out for me was how senior year was basically a showcase. I think it was one of the first things Rebel Wilson had been in a couple of years since her weight loss and coming out as a lesbian, and introducing her girlfriend and what have you. So basically this film is a weight loss parade and a coming out showcase, I suppose. Sounds harsh, but fair and completely honest. I mean, she slides into like a size 10 cheerleading outfit that she's also doing the conga in. But yeah, there's also a lot of there's a big, no, well, it's beyond big, it's fucking massive LGBT sort of streak to the film as well. So yeah, you've got people mincing around all over the place. The blokes, like, there's a Britney Spears parody at one point. All the guys are like pouting and lip gloss. Not being homophobic here, I've had enough of my fill of gay guys. So yeah, there's the whole LGBT thing to it, and this was purely Rebel Wilson's stamp on Hollywood to say, "Hey guys, I'm back. I'm a lesbian, and I've dropped 5 stone." That's all I really got from this, because being painfully honest, there's nothing even remotely enjoyable about senior year. It was a complete waste of budget. It's lacking in script, emotion, feeling, drama. The plot, it doesn't contain near enough as much entertainment as Rebel, I'm sure, thought it did. And it scored 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I looked it up online, and I'm really not fucking surprised. It's an absolute shit show. But hey, nice one, Rebel. You made your mark. You've got your comeback deal. I mean, that was it, because yeah, that was the only way this movie was committed. I can't believe it was even commissioned, let alone produced. But yeah. Let me just close now by saying I cannot wait to see Angourie Rice. I think that's how you pronounce it. Angourie Rice in another movie. She's an absolute pleasure to watch. She really is. She's gorgeous. She's talented, and she's a real live wire. She just adds spark to this film, to senior year particularly. I can't wait to see her again. So that was senior year. That was it. I need to get on to the next one now. I think it's Don't Worry, Darling next. But yeah, I had to get this one out there. So give it a go if you want. But by the time the closing credits roll, you won't have wanted that